All right, so I had a situation where I almost missed a lead that came into my directory, and if I would miss it, then the member would miss it. So I wanted to figure out a notification system for myself when leads came in. So with the new Zapier integration with Brilliant Directories, I decided I would do a zap in Zapier that will send the lead to my phone as a text message, because that pretty much usually catches our attention, right? So here's the area where the leads come in, but I actually need to create a new lead before we do this. But actually we need to get into Zapier before we do anything. First, I wanted to run through the schematic, because if you're like me, it's nice to have a rundown on what's going on. So basically, a new lead comes into Brilliant Directories. It's going to fire a webhook, and we'll talk about that, what that is. The data will be available in Zapier at that point. So Brilliant Directories sends the data, all the data that is eligible to be sent over to Zapier. The data is now available for Zapier to do anything with it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to format the data, which you don't have to do this step, but I'm going to do this step because it'll make the phone number more friendly for my last step. Okay, so we're going to format the data. So this is like a bonus step here. And then lastly, you push the data, which is now available, to the third-party app. In this case, it's going to be SMS, but that could be, this app right here could be Pipedrive, Trello, QuickBooks, Stripe, you name the app, and it could be that. Okay, so the first thing we have to do is go into Zapier to do this. So you're going to go in and you're going to basically do a new zap, and this is the first screen that you'll see. And you can search for the different apps. There's 2,500 some apps available, but your starting point is your trigger. So for this case with Brilliant Directories, we want to use Webhooks, which is an app that Zapier actually, it's their own app. It's their own internal app, okay? You won't find this app anywhere except here, and it's a premium feature. You're going to grab that. You're going to choose an event, and just have to remember catch hook, captain hook, catch hook, however you can remember it. And you're going to pick that, and then continue. Okay, so now it created us a custom webhook URL, and I never understood what this was at first, but this is just a URL that Zapier is going to use, and it's going to push the data to this URL, okay? You can't change this, right? Because if you change this, it would mess it up. So this is the unique URL that Zapier has created for you that Brilliant Directories is going to understand what to do with when that happens, okay? You're going to leave all the rest of this blank right now, but you first want to quickly copy the URL, okay? So it's copied on my clipboard. Now I'm going to do continue. Now I can't do anything yet because it's going to ask me now to test it, but I can't test it until I actually have data in the system, right? So I do have the data in the system, as I mentioned. I told you I have some leads right here, but these leads are old. They're based on a different webhook. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in and change the webhook so that you can see how this would work on, like when you're doing it or if you're going to do it. Okay, so the webhooks in Brilliant Directories are set up in the Developer Hub, which is just on the dashboard at the very bottom, Developer Hub, Webhooks. Now I've already got some of these set up, and I've actually got this one turned on, but this is not the correct webhook. This is an older webhook. So what I'm going to do now is you would come to it. It would be blank if you're doing this for the first time, and then I'm going to paste that right in there, and then I'm going to make sure this is turned on. Okay. Then I'm going to save the settings. Okay. So basically now my Zapier account is sort of temporarily married or connected to my Brilliant Directories account. Okay, now I've got to push a new lead in. Let's say this is 3 weeks from now. It would be a lead coming from the general public, but right now I've got to push a lead through as a sort of a demo lead. Okay, so what I'm going to go do is, this is a fake account in my profile in my directory. I'm going to just do a demo, a sample lead. Okay, so it's going to be Billy. So this is the general, for my directory, it's the general member of the general public looking for a vendor, right? So they're going to fill this out and they're going to submit. Okay, so once they submit, as you know, the lead goes through and you have to approve it in some cases or not, whatever the case may be. So when they submit, that new lead is going to show up in your lead management area. Okay, this is the lead I just filled out. Okay, so now we're going to go back and we're going to test it. We're going to set it up to make sure that Zapier can actually grab the data, right? So Zapier in the future is going to go look for the data at this link. Right now, this is a test to see if there's any data there connected to this actual webhook. There it is. See, it found it. There's Billy Lee that I just filled out. So here's all the data that comes with it. All the data that comes through from Brilliant Directories that they set up when they set up this integration. So, and there's actually quite a bit of data there, which is good because in some cases you don't get so much data in Zapier, but this is good for Brilliant Directories. So there, we got the data. Now the next thing it's going to do, it's going to ask us like, what do we want to do with it, right? I want it to text to me, right? So we've got new lead, fire webhook, data available. This is sample data right now. Format data, and push to the third-party app. Okay. So what I'm going to do really quick is I'm going to format this data that was under this catch hook. And there's another app called Format by Zapier, and there's several different ways you can format your information, which you'll find over time. It's really handy. So we're going to format. There's some choices of what to format. We're going to format numbers, and again, you can skip this step if you want. This is just a step that I'm doing. We're going to format phone number right here. Then it's going to ask me. See, it's going to format the phone number to a new style. And I'm going to do you got to tell it what data you do want to input. So here's all the data that you can pick from that came through that webhook when I pushed that data through under that test. So I'm going to pick the phone number, right? That's what I want, is phone number. I'm going to change the format to a standard format, because what I want is I want the phone number to come through with the brackets and like this, because what that'll do, at least on my Android phone, is it'll recognize it as a phone number and it'll make it a phone number that's like hot linked, so you can just dial it if you want to. Otherwise it doesn't do it, at least not on my phone. So that's why I'm doing this. Okay, we'll leave everything else the same and continue. And every time on Zapier it allows you to test what you're doing. So it'll show you here, this is the input number, this is the plain phone number as it was entered in the lead form on Brilliant Directories. That's exactly how the person entered it. Now if they mistype this, then it's coming through mistyped. Okay, if there's a typo or they add an extra digit, it's coming through exactly how they submitted it. Okay, it's going to format it because I wanted it to. It's going to format it like this when it's done. Okay, so I'm going to do test and review. It's going to test it. It's going to do it, and it's going to show me what the output would look like. That is what I want the output to look like. So I'm going to continue. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and close that. There's my first two steps. Now the last step is I have a clean phone number, plus I have all the other data. My last step is I wanted to send a text to myself. Now, you could do this through an app like Simple Texting. You could do this through an app like Text Magic or Easy Texting, but I don't have those apps. So I'm going to use the free one, which is part of my account with Zapier, and it's called SMS by Zapier. So basically, Zapier is using its own platform, and it's going to text me whatever I want. Okay, so this has to come to me. This can't go to anybody else, because otherwise you could spam people, right? So this text is going to come to me. So choose event is going to be send the SMS. It's going to want to know what Zapier, what function, which is SMS here, and then it actually gives you some choices of phone numbers that you can use that it will send the text from. So I just picked that one. So this is the number that it's going to text from. It's going to text to my cell phone, because I've already set this up that this is connected to my cell phone, okay? So I don't have to set that up right now. But what I'm going to do here is I'm going to set up what the message body is going to be, and it's basically going to be new hot lead, and then I'm going to put the person's name, and this is the field you select, and it'll populate it there. So only Billy Lead will show up. And this is like a mail merge. Okay, if you've done mail merge, needs, haircut, dash, and then I'm going to throw the phone number in. Okay, but to get the phone number, I need the formatted phone number, right? So I'm not just going to get the catch hook data. I'm going to drop down here to my formatted phone number, and it's right here. See, you can pull data from either one of these two places. I'm going to pull it from the formatted phone number right there, so that when it shows up on my cell phone, it'll be formatted correctly. And I can just dial it if I want to call them right away. It's time to test again. It's going to, from this number, send this text, new hot lead, Billy needs haircut, to that phone number. I'm sorry, that is Billy's phone number. Okay, so now we're going to do a test. See if it sends a text. Send a text. And there you could barely hear it that it actually did send that text message. Okay, so test is done. Name the Zap. And I always name it pretty strategically. BD to SMS, new hot lead. So that I kind of know what's going on. Brilliant Directories to SMS, new hot lead. Okay, at that point you want to turn the Zap on. From here on out, when you get a new lead in Brilliant Directories, it'll fire the webhook. The data will become available in Zapier. Mine is going to format the phone number, but you don't have to do that step. And then it's going to push to a third-party app, which in this case is the SMS by Zapier app, which is free as part of the package, right? But any of that data that I had available in the Zap, let me just show that to you one more time. Any of this data is available for you to push to another app. Okay, lead name, lead email, lead phone number, the form name, the message that they put in there, the date, the time, their IP address, their latitude, their longitude, the contact method that they want. Okay, this could get really powerful because you could do a lot of things based on whether or not it said text me or call me. If you had simple texting, you could actually set it up to text the person that filled it out and say, we got your information, we're on the job, we're on the task right now, we're going to find you a vendor, or we're going to find you a directory member to help you out. So it can be very powerful. Thanks for watching the video, and I hope it was helpful. If you need help with Zapier, let me know. I'm happy to help you out. Thank you.